What's up, bullish friends? Hope you guys are doing great out there today. Well, today I got an exciting new program I want to talk about called DEFO, and I'm going to break down what DEFO is, how DEFO makes money, how we make money through DEFO. I'm going to break down the trust and safety of the DEFO team, and I want to break down the long-term stability of DEFO, and then ultimately I want to show you briefly at the end how to get started. Now, inside of this white paper, which I do encourage you to read, there are 38 pages. Now, I am not going to read through 38 pages and bore the hell out of you on video, but I am going to break this down in the quickest, most concise manner that I possibly can, while hopefully explaining it as thoroughly as possible too. So, as always, you guys know, if you've been to my channel at any length of time, none of this is financial advice. I am not your financial advisor. Always do your own research and understand what you're investing in on your own. I am just giving you my opinion and taking you through what the system is based on my opinions only. So let's go in. Now that that's said, let's go into what DEFO is and how you're going to make money through this. So the first thing is, DEFO stands for Decentralized Foundation, and it's a protocol on the AVAX network that aims to leverage the world of DeFi to generate funds while also helping the most in need through our charity donations. So they bring in funds that make us money, they make money, but they also give out charity. And somewhere in this packet they explain that they give 5% of their profit to charity every single month. Now, DEFO makes money through yield farming, and from yield farming, they distribute those profits in the form of DEFO rewards back into our pockets. So they have a token called DEFO, and that token is what gets redistributed back to us as owners, as buyers into the system, if we're going through and we're part of this network. And the way they do that is we buy in with these things called yield gems. And these yield gems basically give us a return, a certain return on our investment. Now, you buy into these. There are 3 different levels. There's Sapphire, there's Ruby, and there's Diamond. To get a Sapphire, you buy in with 5 DEFO and 25 Dai. Ruby, you buy in with 20 DEFO and 100 Dai. And Diamond, you buy in with 80 DEFO and 400 Dai. Now, we got to look at what the price of DEFO is right now to see what it costs to buy into each one of these. So DEFO, if we go over and look at the chart, DEFO right now is about 1033 a token. So if we were to buy into Sapphire, it'd be 5 times 1033. So just for this to round, we'll say it's $50, okay? It's going to be a little more than that. $50 plus 25 Dai. Dai is roughly $1 each. They're based on a $1 increment. So that'd be $50 plus $25. So you'd have $75 to get in the Sapphire. And then over on Ruby, you could do the math, okay? Pretty simple. So there's 3 different levels to get into. Now, what do those levels give us in return? Well, each week we get a reward from DEFO. So these aren't paid daily, they're paid weekly. Like right now, if I were to show you inside my wallet, I have no rewards yet because this program just kicked off, just started here recently, and they haven't paid anything out yet. So it looks like I haven't had any return yet, but it gets paid at the end of the week. So here's what you get weekly. If you have a Sapphire, you get 0.21 DEFO every week. If you have a Ruby, you get 0.86 DEFO weekly. And if you have a Diamond, you get 3.5 DEFO weekly, okay? And they give estimates here on when your return on investment is. And so it goes 216, 221 days, and 227 days. Now, that's if I think they're basing that on, and it's somewhere reading through all this, that if the price were to be $10 per DEFO, I believe. Anyway, I don't really necessarily look 100% at the ROI because this can always fluctuate, but I do look at what the weekly rewards are in DEFO. And as you can see, they're not these huge amounts. So that's part of what makes this sustainable. And part of this is just earning a passive regular income by investing into something. And that's what this channel is all about. We talk about passive incomes with crypto. Now let's discuss some of the sustainability of this project. Now there are other things I'll touch on throughout this that discuss sustainability further, but just to jump into some of the sustainability, one of the things that they do here is they taper the rewards. It's kind of like if you're already a member of Horde, or if you've used Horde. If you haven't, check out one of my videos on Horde at some point. But basically, at a certain point, like in Horde at 300 days, your plot goes away. So you stop earning rewards on that. Well, DEFO doesn't just kill your rewards here. What they do is they taper your rewards down. And how this works is after you receive X amount of DEFO, so after you receive 120 DEFO, your rewards taper by 20%. At 240 DEFO, your rewards taper by another 20%. And after 360 DEFO by another 20%. And this example is just from using the Diamond Yield Gem. So that basically breaks it down that over time, these rewards start tapering off. Now, they mention there's something in here called Phase 2, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. So we have to kind of jump around so I can explain this. But basically, during Phase 1 is where all this tapering takes place. And they mentioned that we're probably not going to get into this last phase of tapering because Phase 2 kicks off. And so you'll probably only see a couple of different tapering sessions here. And I'm going to explain Phase 2 in a second because that's where some of the magic happens with DEFO, where we make a lot more income as basically a larger pool of revenue stream is going to come in during Phase 2. So I want to explain that. So bear with me as we jump through that part as well. Now with DEFO, there is a monthly maintenance fee that you pay for any of the yield gems that you own. So for a Sapphire, you pay 1.5 Dai a month. For a Ruby, you pay 6 Dai a month. And for a Diamond, you pay 24 Dai a month. And 100% of this goes back into the treasury. Well, the treasury is what DEFO uses to do yield farming. So the more people who are involved in this, the bigger the treasury grows and the higher the amount of yield farming they can do. So that's basically what these maintenance fees are. It helps provide longer-term sustainability to this ecosystem. Some things to also further increase the sustainability of this project: they have a daily limit put in place, and they say there will be a maximum amount of yield gems created per day. Many protocols similar to ours ran into problems when growing too fast, since the rewards required to pay were outpacing the treasury. We will ensure that we grow at a pace that is sustainable while at the same time increasing the demand for node creation as it becomes more difficult to get inside the protocol due to a limited supply. While the number may change, we plan to have the following daily limits: 100 Sapphires per day, 50 Rubies per day, and 10 Diamonds per day. This limit will be divided in half so that only 50 Sapphires, 25 Rubies, and 5 Diamond are allowed to be minted every 12 hours. This makes it easier for people across all time zones to catch the limit refresh. So that's pretty cool because essentially that prevents massive amounts of money pouring in all at once, and it creates the problem where it becomes unsustainable for the system. They also have a price stabilizer in place as well. And they mention here that when launching, it's normal that the price will increase. Sometimes this creates massive spikes, which are often followed by a crash. We want to avoid this, and we want the price to be as stable as possible. We will have a price stabilizer bot that ensures that the price stays within a certain range. If the price is increasing significantly, we will then sell DEFO, increasing our treasury and liquidity pool, avoiding a big spike. This sale will be done by using the treasury allocation of the initial DEFO supply. Likewise, we may use the funds gained from selling DEFO to later implement buybacks up to a portion of the total gathered funds. This is to extend the positive price action longer, but not drain the treasury too much by doing so. Buybacks won't be needed until months after the protocol has been running. So the price stabilizer, I really like that because it keeps the price from fluctuating too high or too low. So this keeps the buy-ins at a good level, but it also keeps from shooting to the moon and like having something where all of a sudden the price of your token goes up to $500, causing all sorts of problems with the treasury and within the protocol. And also typically what involves in that is high sell pressure, because once something comes out and the price shoots to the moon, you got all these people wanting to sell. Well, this prevents that from happening. They also have these sell restrictions in place that I want to cover, which also helps prevent massive selling action from taking place as well. They say it will only be possible to sell DEFO in an amount proportional to the rewards received by having yield gems. For example, if you have a yield gem giving 10 DEFO per week, you will only be able to sell 10 DEFO per week. Okay, so what this prevents swing trading from happening where people sell massive quantities all at once. It also eliminates bots from taking advantage of the protocol, potentially sabotaging the launch. And I would go further that bots can sabotage protocols once they've been up and running for a while too. So this helps keep that in place and prevent those two things from happening. So it helps to the long-term sustainability of this project. So somewhere along the way in Q1 or Q2 of 2023, they're going into what they call phase 2 of this entire system. During phase 2, what happens? The yield gems will no longer receive rewards or pay a maintenance fee. Instead, rewards become a function of how much DEFO you deposit inside the vault. The amounts will vary according to the returns and no longer be given in a predictable manner or time frame. Rewards will be given monthly in Dai by splitting the revenue from our investments. And that's essentially when DEFO acts as a yield farming service, returning profits from their treasury using yield farming. And the way we earn from this is we're able to lock our DEFO up that we earn into the vault. So as we go through DEFO, we can lock our DEFO up into the vault. And when we lock our DEFO into the vault, we can basically earn a percentage of the yield that is in the treasury. So let me read through this so I can explain this a little more in detail for you. The vault, the treasury distribution will be based on the DEFO each investor has on the vault. The greater the amount of tokens you have in it when transitioning to phase 2, the more allocation you will have and the more you will receive from the profit sharing. For example, if the vault has 1,000 DEFO tokens and you have 100 DEFO tokens, then you own 10% of the treasury once we move to phase 2, taking into account this allocation. If you have 0 DEFO in the vault, then you won't participate in phase 2. These funds can only be introduced directly from the pending rewards. You cannot deposit DEFO you have chosen to claim into the vault. If the rewards are cashed out, you cannot put them back into the vault. You also cannot buy the token and put it into the vault. So once locked, they can be removed, but with a 10% fee. So all of that to say that as you earn DEFO in the system, you have two options. You can sell the DEFO and basically earn the money back on that you can exchange in and cash in for Dai and put that back in your wallet, or you can lock your DEFO into the vault, earning a percentage of the treasury. Okay, so those are your two options as you go forward in here. I am personally going to be locking my DEFO up into the vault because I do want whatever percentage of that treasury I can get. So I'm not looking at this as a short-term solution. I want this to kind of be a long-term passive play. That's just how I'm doing it, and that's how I see the vault working in this situation. So here's a little graphical breakdown that they do on your claim and lock option. So you earn the yield gems through your rewards. You can then claim and sell those, or you can use option 2, which is lock your DEFO up into the vault, and you also get weekly. There's a weekly vault lottery that you can win, and you are locked into your percentual treasury allocation here. So you earn a percentage of that treasury. Whatever percent you own in that treasury is what you earn back on a weekly basis through DEFO during phase 2. In the description, I will make sure I put a link to this white paper, because I do encourage you to read more, because I mean this thing is extremely detailed. There's a lot of ins and outs that they go through. I don't want to go through too much more on the video because I think it would just go over your head if you're not already part of the system. So I am going to put a link in there. I do encourage you to go read it. One thing I want to touch on here is the team is their KYC'd and they're doxed, and you can see the entire team in here. I actually follow Tiago on Twitter. He's the founder here of DEFO, and they actually show their whole team. So there's accountability in this project, and I really like that. I think that goes a long way. Now, that doesn't mean there's not potential issues that ever arise from a team that's fully doxed and KYC'd, but it does show that there's accountability in the team. Now, with security, they use a multi-signature, so that way one person doesn't have access to all the funds. They have to get 4 signatures on this, and they do lock the liquidity that's in this project for 90 days, and then they do another lock for 90 days as well, and that should get them into phase 2 here. They've received 2 audits that they've passed with no security concerns. So that builds a lot of trust for me in this team, and that's part of why I opted to get involved in this. Now, I'm not going to go through this in this video, but if you guys want me to make a video just showing you how to buy and get into DEFO, I will do that. But just all you need to do is have your Metamask wallet, go to defo.app and connect your wallet. Then you're going to go in and you're going to buy the Dai, and you're going to buy DEFO based on whatever yield gem that you want to buy. So going back to those yield gems I mentioned earlier, you are able to go through and select which one you want to buy, and you'll be able to see that inside your dashboard here. In 1 second, I'll connect and I'll show you inside this dashboard. So inside the dashboard, once you're connected, you can select which yield gem you want to create. And again, you have to make sure that you go and you buy the necessary DEFO that you need, and you buy the Dai that you need, and then you can create these. And it also, what I do like about this protocol is they also show you exactly what rewards you're going to earn right there. So the Sapphire is going to give you 0.21 DEFO a week, the Ruby 0.86 DEFO a week, and the Diamond 3.5 DEFO per week. And then you create and go through the steps that it gives you in the MetaMask. Like I said, if you guys want a more detailed walkthrough of me showing you guys me buying this and getting into this, let me know. Like I said, I already got in, so I don't really want to buy another one right now, but I will do that in a future video if that's what you guys want to see. All in all, I really like this project. I think it's something that is going to be sustainable. I don't have any concerns going into this, and I've read a lot of what Tiago says in like on Twitter, and I've read for like the past 8 months from things that he's been saying, and I really like what they're all about, and I think they've learned a lot of lessons by watching a lot of projects fail out there. So that's why I have a lot of faith and a lot of trust in what this team is building. So you guys, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think about DEFO. Are you getting in? Are you already part of it? Are you thinking about getting in it? And if you have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer those the best I can. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys in another one.